Welcome to the free audiobook version of The Everyday Pain Guide, your go-to guide when pain first strikes. Hi, I'm Dr. Ya-Ling Liu, and the podcast is taking a little detour to make my new book available in an audio-friendly version for everyone out there. Each episode will feature a bite-sized snippet from the book, and together we'll work our way through as much of it as is possible in this format. What's exciting about this is that I'm reading parts of the book to you before it's even available on the shelves. Plus, unlike with a traditional audiobook, you can engage with the content and chat with me about what you hear. You get to ask questions and tell me what you think as each episode rolls out. So sit back and relax as I bring you today's installment of the second book in the Everyday Pain Guide series, Fix the Fire Damage. After completing the section on ways to release 9 different types of food sensitivities, today we're moving on to how to release your chemical sensitivities, the second of the sneaky 3 incoming types of garbage. Please remember that the information, techniques, and suggestions discussed here are not intended as a substitute for your own medical care. Always consult a healthcare provider before implementing any advice referenced here. Release your chemical sensitivities. In this section, you'll find information about where these common chemicals are found so that you can choose to avoid them when possible. Don't worry too much about the things that you cannot control. You will find ways to boost your body's resilience in the next action phase. Once again, building a buffer, in this case, a body chemistry buffer, is the name of the game. Imperfect situations are all around us, and sometimes the best we can do is just grow resilient. Petroleum. This is a substance you have probably heard of and already know it's extracted from the earth to make fuels like gasoline, kerosene, and diesel oil. But it is also found in a whole host of construction, household, and personal care products. Examples include asphalt, batteries, adhesives and sealants, lubricants, plastics, cosmetics, rubber products, and synthetic fibers. Avoiding petroleum fuels is pretty straightforward. Exposure is by inhalation as well as absorption through the skin, and these exposures can and should be avoided when possible. Plastic containers used to store food is another common exposure, but generally isn't a problem when kept cold and therefore chemically inert. Heat and acids will, however, disturb the structure of soft plastics and can then leach into food. Avoid heating food in plastic containers and store acidic foods in glass containers instead. The U.S. cosmetics industry is still not regulated to report all ingredients, and so it's often unknown which products might contain petroleum in the form of petroleum jelly or petrolatum. Because of the risk of contamination with something referred to as polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, the European Union restricts the use of petrolatum in cosmetics unless it's verified to be fully refined. There is some evidence that PAH is carcinogenic when ingested or absorbed into the mucous membranes of the eye, for example. But when petrolatum or petroleum jelly is fully refined, there's no risk of contamination and it's completely safe. PFAS. This stands for polyfluoroalkyl substances, and this is a class of chemicals also known as forever chemicals because of how slowly they are metabolized and eliminated once inside the body. They include things like plastics, food containers, non-stick cookware, stain-resistant fabrics, and firefighting foams. During manufacturing, they can also be released into soil, water, and air. This is one of those things you can't always be aware of being exposed to, but you can eliminate plastics and nonstick cookware. Current day nonstick cookware coatings are incredibly heat resistant, so it's not through normal heating that exposure happens. It's through the physical breakdown and flaking by low quality coatings that this source of PFAS can be introduced into your food and then inadvertently ingested. Fragrances. Scented products may contain natural components that can be airway irritants like citronella, oak moss, and other balsams. There are also many chemical components that go into creating scents, all of which can add a biochemical burden through both inhalation and absorption through the skin. And again, there will be some added information about that in the appendix of the book. Cleaning products. Make sure keeping a tidy home doesn't come at the expense of your body. Cleaning chemicals include things like bleach, ammonia, and fragrances. It's best to use a glove barrier when cleaning with chemicals and never mix bleach and ammonia or bleach and vinegar to avoid creating toxic gases. To be safe, always open a window wherever you have to use any chemical cleaning product. And if ventilation is not good, then wearing a properly rated respirator mask can help. A paper mask, even an N95 mask, is not enough when working with chemical vapors. Diesel fumes. While diesel actually causes less carbon monoxide emission, it instead gives off nitrogen oxides and aldehydes, which are chemical components known for causing airway irritation. There are also tiny soot particles that get deposited on the lungs by these fumes. When you get stuck behind a diesel spewing truck in traffic, close your vents and keep that diesel out of your car. That completes another part of the first phase of the Body Chemistry Action Plan, Release, from Volume 2 of the Everyday Pain Guide series, Fix the Fire Damage. We're keeping these episodes short because they're packed with technical information. Before I give you today's question, I want to add a little footnote. In the book, I didn't address biodiesel because, first of all, I'm not an expert in the chemical composition of fuel, but from what I could see, there are mixed ideas about whether or not biodiesel is guaranteed to be less toxic to humans in all situations. Then just now, I did find an article in the Journal of Xenobiotics from 2024 looking at the toxic effects of petroleum diesel, biodiesel, and renewable diesel exhaust particles on human alveolar epithelial cells. You may remember those are the tiny sacs at the very end of our lungs. And the conclusion was that all types of diesel used in the study did exhibit toxicity. So today I want to know, have you ever noticed any reactions to cleaning products or petroleum products, fragrances, or fumes? Come join me and other listeners over at Better Pain Coping, where you can chat about this or any other episode. You're also welcome to just lurk. You'll find a lot of extra content, including my own thoughts that didn't make it into the book, and all the research references that informed my writing for this chapter. Check the links in today's show notes to see how you can join the conversation over there. In the next episode, we'll finish up with the sneaky chemical sensitivities with 3 more substances and ideas for how to release them from your life. See you then. This episode was an excerpt from The Everyday Pain Guide, your go-to guide when pain first strikes. Written and narrated by me, Dr. Ya-Ling Liu, with audio editing and production provided by Organized Sound Productions. Do you have questions or comments about today's episode? You can shoot me an email anytime at hello@stopeverydaypain.com. That's HELLO@stopeverydaypain.com. If you have friends or family members who you know are struggling with persistent, recurring aches and pains, tell them to check out the podcast while they're waiting for the book. To help me get this information to as many people who need it as possible, please consider leaving an honest review, but I'd also be super grateful for a simple like, follow, or share. Thank you for helping me put a stop to everyday pain.